Yippee-Ki-Yay, mother.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to Yippee-Ki-Yay Classic. Well, we got a fun one today. I think it's fun. Yeah. So at the end of the last show,
it's a rollicking laugh-filled brawl.
Laugh fest.
I'll throw in a laugh track. At the end of the last show, 3-day weekend, we forgot to spin the wheel. And after the show, we spun the wheel of the universe, the picker wheel, and Wojo won. And
I won.
Wojo brought the film today. Wojo, what film did you bring? We'll talk about it after we do our What'd You Watch, but what films?
You know, I realized this weekend, rewatching it, this is without a doubt my favorite movie of all time. It's The Shawshank Redemption.
Wow.
And it really is. It's always been, I've always said it's in my top 5 or my top 10, but watching it again, and I hadn't seen it in a while, I said to Brad, this really is my all-time favorite movie for a number of reasons that we'll discuss.
Wow. Well, I'm sure we'll add a lot to the tableau of this film, so I can't wait. All right, but before then, let's do What You Watch. We're going to start with Drew, since he's got a spin through. So Drew, you get one pick, and then you get a couple we'll spin through. So what's your and you remember you got to keep these short. So
of course.
Thank you.
So I watched a movie that I really thought I was going to turn off after 20 minutes, and then I kept watching, and it was actually worth my time and yours. Eric Andre has a new movie that's on Netflix. It's called Bad Trip. It's like a Borat type of movie where he does a lot of pranks and hidden cameras, but it's built around a story. So he's playing a character that's chasing a woman that he hasn't seen since high school. And it's like the first 20 minutes you go, well, this is not working at all. This is terrible. And then it actually becomes really sweet and funny and has a lot of vomit jokes and stuff. So if you like Eric Andre, it's definitely worth checking out on Netflix, Bad Trip. But I think I prefer his show because it's shorter and it's the same principles of really just shocking people out in public and stuff. But it's fun.
I don't even know who Eric Andre is, but he's
a comedian and actor.
Okay.
You probably recognize him. He's been in a bunch of stuff.
Drew, you get 2 more short ones. Get the wheel.
Here we go.
Q Into the Storm is a new documentary that's running on HBO Max, and the filmmaker decided to dive into what the QAnon conspiracy is and actually managed to interview and talk to people that run the boards and started seeing the spread of this information. Some of them were responsible for spreading it as it appeared. And it is absolutely one of the craziest things I've seen in a long time. And I only watched 1 episode because it was all too much for me.
Yeah, I watched, they had 2 the first night. And I was amazed at how far back the documentarian, went. Like he had started this a long time ago, even before, I felt like before it got rolling, but it's wild.
Yeah, wild. He could see something was happening. And
well, that whole 4chan, 8chan, all the chants, I just can't, it's just crazy how that stuff spread. All right. That's number 1. Here's the second one.
I didn't watch episode 2. So.
I think you might be controlling it. Aquaman.
Okay, so I had never seen Aquaman. The Snyder cut took over everything in the whole entire entertainment universe last week, and I said, you know what, I'm going to fill this blank in with Aquaman because I had not seen it. I heard it was really fun. It has like a lot of people in it that I like, and it was I didn't like it. Really? It wasn't awful. It was bright colors and pretty and stuff, but I wanted to like it more than I did.
And who was Aquaman?
Jason Momoa, who is very good in the role.
Really
he's very good in Game of Thrones. He's very hot. Yes, he's very hot.
I could watch him read a phone book, as they used to say.
There's a lot of hot people that could read a phone book, but I don't know. I wanted to like it better. It also felt like there was at least 3 or 4 movies all shoved together that were happening at once, and none of them were particularly exciting. So maybe next time.
My problem with it is nothing seemed real in the movie. It's like everything is completely false. Everything was blue screen.
Yeah. There was nobody looked like they were actually underwater, which was troubling since most of the movie took place underwater. So,
John, on your Marvel scale, where's the Aquaman in the?
That's DC, Ralph.
Yeah,
Aquaman's DC. Okay, in the DC scale.
Aquaman is DC. I actually liked it a lot because Aquaman's a pretty boring character in the DC universe,
and they made him a pretty cool character in the movie. I didn't like, me, I'm not a big everything CGI, so I didn't like that part of it. But look, it rested on his shoulders, and he was great in it. So
he's got big shoulders,
and he's got big shoulders.
Anything, anywhere.
Not only can he
Michelle. He's hot.
Not only can he read the phone book, he can rip it in half too.
That's right.
So John, since Drew brought it up, why don't you compare and contrast this to the Marvel universe? No, I'm just kidding. Sean and Debbie.
Well, we watched. It was a Danny Glover triple feature on TCM, and I think Debbie wanted to say that we watched Places in the Heart first. I don't know if you've seen it. It's been quite a while. That's
Sally Field. John Malkovich, yeah.
Easy to fall in love with her all over again.
Ralph didn't need that, believe me.
Yeah, I tell you. Danny Glover's great. John Malkovich is great. And it's got this weird sort of mystical realism ending to the film. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't necessarily want to give it away. Yeah. But it's sort of like everybody's together in this church scene at the end, living
just
black, white, living and dead, is very... It's a really the kind of film, the kind of drama that they don't make anymore because there are no stakes in it.
Yeah.
So I was glad to see it. And also, I hate to do a Drew and throw in another one.
Do it.
Which I hadn't seen in a long time was the Danny Glover film To Sleep with Anger. I don't know if you've seen that. So his character is like this guy from the South who visits like distant relatives in California and won't leave. And he seems to be like a charming, nice guy, but he's really the devil. He destroys the entire family while he's there.
It reminds me of that movie that Wojo hates.
Which one could that Slapshot?
The counselor?
The counselor, yeah.
Plays the devil as well as
always has it right at the ready.
Cameron Diaz. She's just
the
devil like she is, and
he's a smaller stakes devil.
Yeah, smaller stakes
and
devil.
Does not have sex with a car.
Not.
Okay, well.
Once. Not even
Places in the Heart is where
that was a 21st century innovation, I guess.
Yeah.
Places in the Heart is where I first introduced to John Malkovich, I think. I think that's the first time. And he played a blind guy in that one, right?
He was fantastic.
He was fantastic.
I could really see that he played the blind guy so well.
Yeah.
Has he ever been in anything where he sucked? I mean, seriously.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think of something I didn't like him in. I didn't always like the movies, but I always liked him.
Okay, what are you, his PR guy? PR person there? Well, Joe.
I just like John Malkovich.
Yeah. Oh, he's great. He's great. All right, Wojo and Brad, what do you got? I know you did Shawshank, but what else did you watch?
We've been watching 30 Rock all over again, which is hilarious. We watched the last episode of WandaVision. Not going to put up any spoilers, but we were disappointed, much like John. We were disappointed in the final episode.
I was okay with it, but I know it's probably leading into another movie, but I don't follow all the. I don't know what led into this and what.
That's because you're not a nerd. Oh, sorry.
Well, when you say you were disappointed, like John, do you mean you were disappointed in WandaVision the way that John was, or were you disappointed in John? I just want to be.
Well, I'm often disappointed in John, but in this case, I was disappointed, much like John was.
Thank you for clarifying.
And thank you for being an asshole. So, I'm kidding.
Which one, Drew?
Wait a minute. When you said thank you for being an asshole,
that's what I'm wondering.
Who are you referring to?
She's looking at all
of you.
Pick one.
Okay.
And the last thing, I've started watching Murder Among the Mormons.
Oh, we watched that. That was
because I really like murder.
Yeah, I haven't watched
serial
that,
killer.
I don't really give a crap
he does not like that. I am watching it on my own, and so far I'm finding it intriguing. I decided Drew got 3, so nanner.
All right. Well,
you didn't
in honor of Shawshank Redemption, which I'm going to be honest, I did not watch again. I'm going to be honest. I don't think it's the greatest movie ever made. I watched a little series on I think it's on Netflix called Escape at Dannemora, the Ben Stiller miniseries about the escape up in New York. The 2 prisoners who did not find paradise like Andy and Red did. They too squeezed through a tube. They too escaped. One ended up dead and one ended up shot in the leg about 40 yards from the Canadian border.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's John's favorite kind of thing, an upper.
It's this one. Have you seen that miniseries?
I'm familiar with what network is it playing on? What's it called?
Right now, it's on Netflix. It's amazing, and Ben Stiller did a fantastic job. So,
what's it called?
Escape at Dannemora. Am I pronouncing that right, Drew?
You are. Good job.
Thank you. It's about 7 episodes. Patricia Arquette won. I think she won a Golden Globe for it. She was amazing. Everybody's amazing in the film. Paul Dano and Benicio del Toro play the 2 prisoners who plan the escape. And I saw the original series when it came out on Showtime, maybe 3 years ago. And it still surprised me as I watched this one. I forgot certain things that Ben Stiller did. It's quite amazing.
What is that about? It's a cat.
I saw something moving behind
you. He's protecting me. So that was my, I wanted to watch that because of Shawshank, and I'm glad I did because
instead of Shawshank.
Yes, I did. I've seen Shawshank enough to talk about it. So, and I think we can all do that.
Yeah, it's sort of the Singing in the Rain of prison movies.
You know what? That is a perfect description.
That's good. Sean, that was good.
It does have more poop.
Tweet about this. You have to put that
was
in.
A little bit more poop. Yes. So yeah. So here we go.
Hey, you didn't let John say what he
Ralph,
watched.
can I talk about what I watched? Or
I thought we did. Did I not?
Do Drew's bits take time away from me?
You teased him to talk about Marvel and
Drew's
DC,
bits
and
take
you
time
said,
away from me? Is that what it is?
We talked about John.
I
Does that not count?
Me talking about what somebody said counts as my bit. Okay.
John, you have. I'm sorry, I completely forgot. You have the remaining 20 seconds.
So I finished watching 130 episodes of Elementary. And I have to tell you, I was bummed out when it was over because I really enjoyed watching it, and Johnny Lee Miller is great in it. So what I started watching was Longmire. I just finished.
Oh, that's the best.
I love it. I love Robert Taylor. He is incredible.
He's good.
What a character! And I'm through the 2nd season, and it fits perfectly with the movie we watched with Jeremy Renner. It's almost the same place.
You should watch Yellowstone.
That's what we talked about.
I'm going to watch Yellowstone after I watch this because I love this.
We started Yellowstone. It's fantastic.
I just love the character of Walt. I just think it's great. And I wish I watched it before Lou Diamond was on because he's really good in it too.
Yeah, he's great.
And I would love to talk. I mean, he probably would want to talk about it because he doesn't like to talk about stuff that's real successful that he's done.
Let it go, John.
I loved it. And for those out there who haven't seen it, watch it. It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, we've watched that twice.
Yeah.
I'd watch it again.
Would you like a
Has that guy done anything else, Robert Taylor? Because I don't remember seeing him in anything.
Yeah, he was in Vertical Limit.
Vertical Limit.
Yeah, he's not. He doesn't have a big part in that. But
my God, he's so good in this role.
He was in what was that? What was that movie we saw at White Marsh with the Sun Paper? It was about
White
that
Marsh.
mega monster thing.
The Meg.
The Meg. He was in that.
He's in the Meg with Jason Statham.
With Jason Statham, yeah. Jason Statham was in that.
That's it.
I like to watch his head explode.
I love Jason Statham. I love him. He's great. All right.
He's out. He's out. Finally. Good. Now we can talk about you. Oh, he came back. All right.
Now he's out of focus.
Can we now go? Did I?
Yes.
We can go. You want a bonus pick since I dissed you? No? Okay, good. You had your chance. No bonus pick.
Longmire.
All right.
Ralph, let's see the trailer.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard all the evidence. I submit that this was not a hot-blooded crime of passion. Consider this. A revolver holds 6 bullets, not 8. That means that he fired the gun empty and then stopped to reload.
By the power vested in me by the state of Maine, I hereby order you to serve 2 life sentences back to back. 1 for each of your victims. So be it.
Send you here for life? That's exactly what they take.
I believe in 2 things. Discipline.
Help me, John!
And the Bible. Here you'll receive both.
Andy came to Shawshank Prison in 1947.
Why'd you do it?
I didn't, since you asked.
You gonna fit right in. I must admit, I didn't think much of Andy first time I laid eyes on him. He had a quiet way about him. A walk and a talk that just wasn't normal around here.
There are places in the world that aren't made out of stone. There's something inside they can't touch.
What are you talking about?
Hope.
Let me tell you something, my friend. Hope is a dangerous thing.
Damn it, Dufresne, you're putting me behind.
Hope can drive a man insane.
You better be sick or dead in there, I kid you not.
I better get used to that idea. Oh, my holy God.
I guess it comes down to a simple choice, really. Get busy living, or get busy dying.
Get busy living, or get busy dying. That's damn right.
Take a moment to let that breathe in, especially Morgan Freeman's narration during the trailer. It's amazing. Can you believe that movie lost to Forrest Gump? Can you believe that movie lost to Forrest Gump?
No.
Okay, Woj, take it away.
This movie, I love this movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it now. What is wrong with you? It's 27 years old. Go watch. We'll wait.
I think it might be too slow for people nowadays, actually.
Oh.
I'm saying for people nowadays. I'm not saying for, you know how I feel about older films.
No, it might be.
This is a very languid film.
But it's beautiful.
Is that a word?
I mean, the shots are beautiful. It tells the story. Drew, our wordsmith. It tells the story of Andy Dufresne, vice president of a bank, who is falsely convicted and imprisoned for killing his wife and her golf pro lover. He ends up, spoiler alert, 27 years later, he winds up breaking out of Shawshank Redemption, or Shawshank, the prison, and making his way to Mexico after he also is able to screw over the warden who has had him keeping 2 sets of books and really just embezzling the crap out of any program he can. But it's put in a name of a non-existent person. And because of that, because of the time frame, like today, that wouldn't work. Like he got, at the end when Andy Dufresne is going to get all the money from the banks that he had deposited them in. He had his birth certificate. He had a driver's license. I'm assuming you did not need your photo on a driver's license back then because they showed it in the movie and it wasn't there.
Or you didn't need to go take a driver's test apparently either.
Yeah. Well, he got it from, anyway, I love this movie and I love Morgan Freeman's narration. I love this movie. I can start talking about, cool parts about it, things you may not realize or know. Where do you want me to go from here?
Well, I mean, I guess my I'm a little
hesitancy
because I feel about this film the way I feel why I don't do Jaws on this film, quite frankly, which is everybody knows everything. Tell me something we don't know about this film.
The screenplay writer, Frank Darabont, who had come off the exciting writing the screenplays for Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Fly 2, and the remake of The Blob, got the rights from Stephen King for $1.
Yeah, didn't he hound him for the rights? Didn't he? Wasn't he like?
No, he actually had done a previous, I guess more of an independent film based on something that Stephen King had done. And Stephen King has this thing that he does where if an independent person, if someone who's small potatoes comes to him and wants to do something with one of his films, he will sell them the rights for $1. So this was the second time that Darabont had gotten a film from the rights for the film for $1. So he writes screenplay. Rob Reiner, his production company, Castle Rock. What?
I think Sean worked with Rob Reiner at one point. And he's
Sean and Debbie are frozen again.
Oh no!
Oh, I thought they were just pissed.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there they go. They're back.
He's back. Okay. Anyway, so Rob Reiner optioned the screenplay, paid Darabont $2.5 million, and then he was going to direct it initially. Did you know that?
Rob Reiner, no.
Yeah. Okay. Guess who was supposed to star in it?
Tom Hanks.
Tom Cruise as Andy Dufresne, and wait for it, Harrison Ford as Red, because in the Stephen King novella Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption, which is what this is based on, Red was a red-haired, middle-aged Irishman.
Yeah.
So,
but Hanks turned it down.
Hanks did turn it down. A couple people turned it down.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt was supposed to play Tommy, the guy who comes out and says he, the rocker kind of
Gil Bellows,
the leather jacket dude, right?
Gil Bellows, exactly.
Guy from Alan Beale.
Exactly. But what happened was Brad Pitt made his shirtless debut in Thelma and Louise before this, and then found out he could get leading man roles. So he was like, screw that, and he dropped out.
And Ralph was never the same after that either.
No, it's not that.
Never the same.
Let's be fair. I like the older Brad Pitt, not the
Let me see. A couple other things you may not know. Oh, did you know that before they filmed the actual movie, Morgan Freeman did all the narration?
Of everything ever made, or just this movie?
Or of the... God, you fuckers.
Well, he does a lot of narrations, is my point.
Yeah, but this is what started all his narrations, was this movie.
It really did.
Yeah. I thought it was the Electric Company, but okay.
Well, they knew his voice from the Electric Company, but he wasn't doing all the commercials and all the different kinds of things like that.
Yeah, I mean...
Do you know what Frank Darabont is known for now?
The Mist, Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he was removed from. There's a huge lawsuit. I don't know how it turned out. They
still in court.
Showrunner.
It is.
Yeah, it's still in
Walking
court.
Dead. That's still in court. Yeah, he got that to the screen, and he took Mist. I had heard that story. I think I was talking to somebody about that, about the $1 that someone paid.
His short stories he would sell to anybody for $1.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, well, he wasn't selling them. He was letting them opt.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Well, and the thing is, this novella comes from the book called Different Seasons. And I used to read all that kind of stuff. And it also has the story in it called The Body, which was made into The Stand.
Sure.
Stand by Me.
Stand by Me.
Stand by Me. Sorry, not The Stand. Stand by Me.
The Stand was
the big, and The Stand.
They're redoing The Stand apparently as a series now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you can watch it on Paramount Plus. It's already out.
It's already out? Okay.
I don't think the reviews loved it, but I have not seen it.
That's a streaming service.
Yeah.
It's like the third time I think they've made The Stand.
Well,
didn't they have a miniseries?
They had a miniseries that had Steven Weber in it, and then they had I think they had a couple-part movie. Anyway,
I kind of wanted to get into. I kind of wanted to go at this now. You guys can all jump in. Everybody thinks this is the greatest. What's everybody feel about this film? Does everybody love it? Like it's
Debbie?
Sean, where are you?
I love this film because it just brought you back to the period, 1947. I wasn't born yet, but somehow, some way, I don't know why, but movies like this in this time frame, I feel it. I feel the depression, and from hearing stories from my grandparents, how it was in those days. Tough times, hard times. And, I could see it happening to a person going to prison for a good person going to prison, and that wasted time, and when you're serving time, is so sad.
Are we sure he really didn't kill his wife? We don't really know, do we?
Of course he didn't kill his wife.
We do.
It was
I think you guys need to go on YouTube.
Ralph, you should have watched it.
We really.
No, I've seen it. I know that they present that he definitely was innocent.
No,
I have seen some videos where people question whether he did it or not.
Well, I want to say that.
Let me just jump in. Debbie, I mean, part of it is the atmosphere. This thing is shot beautifully, like Wojo was saying. And they really, when you see a film like this and the grays and it's like when we did the Christmas Carol. There was some that looked like they were shot on a set, and some that actually look like they were living there. And, that helps the film. And this looked lived in. They shot that at a real prison, right? I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Ohio State Reformatory.
Yeah.
And actually, it was set to be demolished. And because they wanted to shoot the movie there, they kept it open for another year for them to film.
Well, Joe, where was it shot?
Ohio. It was the Ohio State Reformatory.
OHIO.
Yes.
OHIO.
Who
plays the mean prison guard? What's his name again?
It's Clancy Brown.
I just, Drew, I just saw Promising Young Woman. He's great. He's a completely different actor.
Yeah, he's a pretty amazing actor. You look at his performances in this and Highlander and Starship Troopers and Promising Young Woman. He's one of those guys that's been in a ton of stuff. You would all recognize him, but he's so good. It's not surprising he's had a career for so long.
Yeah, he was a great Lex Luthor too on Superman in the animated series.
Really? So, Sean, what were you going to say?
He's got a great voice.
He does.
Well, I can say I saw this film, surprisingly. I saw it in the theaters because I saw
it. Really?
Yeah.
I didn't think you went to the movies.
Yeah. Because I saw every film released in the 90s in the movies. I will say that I really liked it then, but I had no idea that this was going to become the classic that it is. I mean, I really liked it, and I like it more. It sort of reminds me of Big Lebowski, which I also saw and liked and didn't realize it was going to be this huge cultural, touch point, and I think that's what this film has become. And watching it again, since I took the time to watch it again, this is probably the 8th or 10th time I've seen it.
It was assigned, right?
It was assigned. We weren't kind of supposed to watch it.
But, you know what?
Debbie Burns Ralph.
No, but I tell you what, it's easy to see. I mean, this is according to IMDb ratings, this is the most popular film,
but it was a total flop when it came out, right?
It made less than $1 million.
Yeah, it wasn't a box office success.
For its first
I liked
weekend.
it, but it was not. I'm not like thinking, boy, this is the film that's going to create everyone. I mean, think about it. I mean, Morgan Freeman was already on an upward trajectory since he played that supporting role in that film about the reporter and Christopher Reeve was in. But this is the film that really made him a star. And it's funny watching them age the actors over the course of the film. And I think they did a really good job with Tim Robbins' hair. But one thing is his forehead. It's completely smooth, through these decades. And Morgan Freeman did a good job of aging until you know what he looks like now. It's like nature did a better job of aging him than the movie did, And the thing is, he could probably still play that role today. He is so amazing. And it really, as good as Tim Robbins was, as good as everyone was in this movie, this is really Morgan Freeman's movie. I mean, he is tremendous in this film. He's the heart of this film. He's the narrator of the film. It's his point of view, and he did a great job. And he has been, the voice of authority ever since, since this movie. And, I'll watch it just for Morgan Freeman, I mean, he was absolutely
It's a great buddy film too.
Yeah. Why wasn't this in our buddy showdown?
Yeah.
Well,
this was a love story more than a buddy film between Red and Andy. I mean, it really is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and interestingly enough, the writer-director, he, oh my God, I completely lost it. Because I thought buddy film and my mind went blip. It'll come back.
Okay.
Your mom.
Drew, where are you at, Drew?
Well, this was a movie that I did not see in the theater. I don't know if I would have or not, because I guess it really just came and went. But I definitely didn't see it in the theater because I was living in another country. And when I came back, I guess this movie really, I probably didn't watch it for another year or two because it disappeared, and then it got all these Oscar nominations. I think it got 7 Oscar nominations, and it didn't win any of them. And I'm looking at the list right now, and you talked about how pretty the movie is. I mean, it's a Roger Deakins movie.
Yeah,
and Roger Deakins. He's done a lot of the Coen Brothers movie, Denis Villeneuve's movie. He just did 1917 last year. I mean, he's one of the most incredible, innovative cinematographers out there. And it's really an earnest movie, not Ernest Goes to Jail. Ernest Ernest,
but more like Ernest Goes to Camp.
Ernest breaks out of jail.
No, there is an Ernest Goes to Jail, but this is Ernest, EAR Ernest, and in some ways that makes it really old fashioned, which is not a bad thing at all. It's a beautiful, sweet movie about wrongful imprisonment and murder and threats of more murder and rape and all that good stuff. But it's also a Stephen King movie, and it kind of intrigued me because it's a Stephen King movie that is not a horror story. Mm-hmm. And it does something that Stephen King movies and books. I mean, he's a very entertaining writer, and obviously he's had a little bit of success beyond this movie. But most of his stuff, the endings are crap. And this movie is very satisfying. The story is very satisfying. Mm-hmm. I did read the short story Rita Hayworth in the Shawshank Redemption a long time ago. I can't remember really anything about it because the movie has totally taken over, what that experience was. But it's a very old-fashioned Ernest movie. I'm not surprised that it didn't find an audience, but when it was out. But I'm also not surprised that it did ultimately find an audience because it's just good. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
And there are notable differences. I mean, some of the stuff Darabont took directly from some of the dialogue. He took directly from the short story, but the novella was like 96 pages. And some of the things that he made different, like there were all these different wardens in the novella, and here it was just one.
Because he was one of the.
He was one of the big. Yeah, exactly. Tommy in the novella doesn't get killed. He is offered. He goes to a minimum security prison in exchange for his silence of never coming forward with this. But I remember what I was going to say before. When Sean was talking about how this movie has become so big and so well loved, I was doing some reading beforehand, and Tim Robbins said, he and Morgan Freeman have both said, like, wherever they go, if people mention any movie, it's the Shawshank Redemption. And Tim Robbins talked about, he got to meet Nelson Mandela. And they're talking for a few minutes, and Nelson Mandela brings up and starts talking about the Shawshank Redemption as one of his favorite movies.
Well, and he was in prison for a while.
Well, yeah. And it's interesting how it...
a while.
Yeah, a little, just a couple
about
years.
As long as Andrew Dufresne was.
Right.
Yeah.
It was also a big change, right? Rita Hayworth became Raquel Welch. I guess they thought nobody would recognize Rita Hayworth.
And then Raquel.
Yeah, don't forget Marilyn Monroe from 7 Year.
Well, no, it was Rita Hayworth at the beginning, but as time went on, he got
the poster.
Marilyn Raquel.
But he got new posters as the years went on.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Now,
about the first one he got was Rita Hayworth.
Because if you would have seen the movie, you would have.
If you'd watched, you'd have known that.
No, here's my wow, these guys are tough. But here's my question.
If here longer, it would have been that Farrah Fawcett poster.
Here's my question about
that would have been
okay.
And then
here's my question
Anderson.
about this has been gnawing at me that many times I've seen this film, except this time. Okay, so he has that poster on the wall. When he goes in that tunnel, how does he get that poster taped back up there when he's inside the tunnel? Just think about that.
Because he was, if you notice when he was breaking the wall down, he was just lifting the bottom of it up and breaking. So
there was no tape on the bottom.
It just draped. It just draped
down.
It's just draped down.
What do you think about the film?
Listen, I love this movie. It's not a movie that I watch over and over again because it's a tough movie to watch. Some scenes in the movie are really tough to watch. Mm-hmm. For me, I think what people really respond to in this movie is once he breaks out, and that whole thing about him breaking out and the comeuppance on the warden, who if the actor Bob Gunton didn't play it so well, you wouldn't be cheering that whole thing on when he finally gets caught. Right?
Yeah,
he was fantastic.
So for me, it's the last part of the movie that when you think about this movie, that's what you think about. You think about him out there in the rain after going through the tunnel. You think about Red going to the boat at the very end of the movie. That's what people remember. But I will tell you, when I watched it again, I tried to focus not on the two leads. I focus on a lot of the side characters because I think everybody's so good in it. William Sadler, you already mentioned Clancy Brown, the guy who played the warden, and James Whitmore, who is, I think, is really excellent in this movie. And what happens to him is just so incredibly sad.
And yet so realistic.
Well, yeah, you're right. Because people, he's been in prison so long, he can't deal with being out on his own. So I really do like this movie. It's not a movie I watch over and over again because I think it's a tough watch. Other than if I happen to catch it at the point that he's about to escape, I watch it from that point on. I do. I always watch it from that point on. I think Tim Robbins. Look, I think he was really good in it, but it's not like I think, oh my God, this is the best performance he's ever done. Because it was okay. It was just, for me, he was just okay. I think the other people in it were actually better than him. Maybe his part didn't call for that because he was kind of.
He was a passive character.
Yeah. I think he was passive till the very end, right? And then you realize everything was in his head. He was the wheels were turning. So for me, but I love this movie. I think it's a great movie. I can't say it's one of my top 5, and I'm actually a little surprised, Roger, that this is your favorite film of all time. I wouldn't think that, but I think it's a good choice for you.
Top 5. I think it's because it's about hope for me. No matter what, he's got hope the whole time, and he mentions that. And there are so many quotes that probably have been overused. Get busy living or get busy dying. That was right in the trailer. But there were just so many good parts in this. And I don't know, I'm guessing this scene has been done before, but the famous scene where he's doing this in the rain. We've seen so many movies recreating that kind of scene in the rain ever since. And and it may have been done beforehand. You guys would know better than I.
Flashdance did that.
Well, it's a resurrection. It's a resurrection is what it is. I mean, the imagery is resurrection.
Flashdance did it the best. But
that's what it is. The imagery is resurrection. That's what
I must have missed that because, I just don't get movies.
But they shot that so many times and it was out of focus every time. And they finally got it on the last. Well, I guess they would stop. It's like
Roger
if you look
Deakins
for something you've lost, you find it in the last place you look because that's where you find it.
Ralph, when he was throwing the baseball, that scene took 6 hours, and Morgan Freeman kept throwing the ball. Next day, he had to come in with a cast.
Yeah,
his arm was shot.
Listen, I tell you, my favorite scene in the film is the beer on top of the roof scene.
Oh yeah,
where Andy has a standoff with Clancy Brown, and that's
that
when
was
everybody
also.
kind of,
man should drink the suds.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was powerful in a few ways, and one of the background stories is, I knew this because a friend of my mom's growing up, he was a roofer. But when they were doing that tar, tar dries pretty damn fast. So they had to keep actually pushing the tar because if you even take a break, it's going to solidify. So those guys, that was a hell of a scene. And I thought it was just neat that Andy Dufresne's character, they offer him a beer and he said, "No, I don't drink." So it showed he did this.
Yeah, he gave it up.
Yeah, gave it up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's Jesus, right?
Yeah.
Oh, shut up.
He's
a little more passive than the Jesus. Well,
No, who's more Jesus. Go ahead.
I was about to, it was a good point about, because he's in the sense, he's like Hal Linden and Barney Miller or Judd Hirsch in Taxi. He's the guy that all the people are around. He's the central character. But it's like, it's the other people that are really forcing the plots of everything, And it's sort of like, because you're thinking about this, for a prison escape film, you don't even see him thinking of escaping till he talks to Red. You don't get the picture that he's escaping till he tells Red to go look for that rock, after he gets out of solitary. But he'd been escaping the entire time.
They froze again.
Yeah, but we can still hear him.
That's a classic
we can still hear you.
What about the dirt out of his pants? Wasn't he planning to escape the whole time?
Yeah.
Or was that... Okay, so I did.
I don't think the audience isn't let in on it, though. I think is what.
But I don't think he was.
I don't think he told anyone.
Well, I don't think he thought of the way to escape until he started to engrave his name on the wall,
which was pretty early on.
I knew when he got the little hammer to do the rocks that he was. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Well, he got to the point where he felt like nothing he was doing was working, so this was his only way out. But at the beginning, he thought he was like when Tommy showed up and the witness, right? That's how he was that's why they killed him. which was another tough scene.
This makes my
as I was saying.
Boxes are shifting around.
But it is really, this is another example of something that would not necessarily play today, because that's considered a cardinal sin of screenwriting, is the passive protagonist, this is, you look at so many of these great films, and I think this is one of the reasons Ralph and I wanted to do this, is that films have changed so much, particularly since the 70s, and things have gotten really homogenized. And I think even this film would have a hard time, this script passing through the studios as it is now, which is a pity because it's a magnificent film.
Not to mention pasteurized.
Yeah, homogenized, pasteurized. We knew we were going to get a chemical process from Debbie.
I'll always bring it back to science. That's Debbie. Always back to science.
Yeah, they would have. Because a lot of parts of this movie are quiet. I mean, there's not a lot happening.
And you're talking about
today, there's got to be something happening.
But even though it wasn't a fast-moving movie, it was just such a good story and told really well. And like you said, the scenery. I mean, some of those aerial shots they did were just amazing. Like when I love the scene where he locked himself in and played the record over the.
Yeah.
That was such a great scene.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with slow films. I said, I don't think, like Sean just said, I don't think.
I'm not saying you had a problem with it.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I know, like you said, a lot of people might have a problem with that today because they've gotten used to a different style.
Yeah.
They want to see stuff like Mad Max Fury Road.
Right.
It's classic.
Ooh.
What?
Wojo, it's okay to go after Ralph. But Drew's the new kid.
I can take it. I have my own bits and stuff.
Seriously.
That didn't
Ralph, I don't think it's fair because you do so much for this podcast. I don't think it's fair to go after.
So I agree with Sean that I don't think this would have. I think, and frankly, it bombed when it came out the first time.
Yeah, but it bombed because Forrest Gump was out there. There was another movie.
Whatever the reason it bombed, and it became the hit that it is because it had a cult following. Which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I think.
Well, that was the same. That was also the same year as Pulp Fiction. There was a lot of big movies.
Was Pulp Fiction same year?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, it's interesting if you look back. I'm looking at the Best Picture nominees that year. And so you've got Quiz Show and Four Weddings and a Funeral, both fine films that I don't see a lot of people going back to. There's nothing wrong with that. And then you've got Forrest Gump, which people now go back to with negative reviews, which I didn't like it in the first place. And then you've got The Shawshank Redemption, which nobody saw, and Pulp Fiction, which was a thunderclap. And those two movies really, I mean, they're worth watching again, right now. If there are people who weren't born when The Shawshank Redemption and Pulp Fiction came out, and it's worth their time now, 27 years later, to go and check those movies out. And that's a legacy, I think, that The Shawshank Redemption and Frank Darabont, that they brought to life. Because Frank Darabont went on to make, he was one of the Stephen King guys. He did Green Mile, which I really didn't like, and he did The Mist, which is better in black and white. And also, he did write the script, as you mentioned, for the Blob remake, which is a fantastic script and a really fun movie.
I was about to say I enjoyed the Blob remake.
Oh God, it's so fun. And
do you know why he changed the name into just The Shawshank Redemption from Rita Hayworth in The Shawshank Redemption?
Because actresses were calling, wanting to audition because they thought it was about Rita Hayworth.
Agents were calling, and one agent said, "Oh, this is best script I've ever read, and my
she'll be great in the part.
Should be the part of Rita Hayworth." And there was no part.
That's
of
right.
Rita
That's
Hayworth. So you're going to be on the poster, okay?
All right. Well, we'll rate this thing after, but I got a quick question a quick volley around here. What's your favorite Stephen King film adaptation? Sean and Debbie.
Well, I say I'm going to like the second Salem's Lot TV miniseries with what's his name, the actor who did
not the David Soul one.
No, the other one. I just really enjoyed that. I really think that's great. Also, The Shining.
Right. Yeah, that's an excellent one.
Okay,
yeah. Debbie,
Brojo.
Well, this would be my favorite, followed closely, believe it or not, by Stand By Me and then Firestarter, which not as many people watched. A very young Drew Barrymore, but that was one of the ones that stuck to the book so much, and I just thought that was
John,
really good. What?
Stand By Me.
Oh, I guess.
Stand By Me.
That would have been insane.
Drew.
Well, I remember I guess it was 1998, and there was a radio contest for movie tickets, and they announced that you could call in and win the tickets, and it was for a movie called Apartment Pupil, which is not the name of the movie. It's actually Apt Pupil.
Oh,
so I've always remembered that, but I don't know. I think I guess for me a successful adaptation is something that it lives on its own, but it feels right, and that can be hard to define. And honestly, recently I thought Gerald's Game that Mike Flanagan directed was really, really excellent. Like that's a decent book and a good story, but that movie and the acting in that movie and the simplicity of it, kind of a bottle movie actually, it was really satisfying. Also, super gross.
Yeah, really.
And I'll throw in Misery.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
good call. Deb?
Okay, now I'm going to round robin. Sorry.
What about Deb?
I
The worst Stephen King.
No,
Worst.
hang on. I didn't give mine yet.
Okay, sorry.
Neither did
me. Woof.
Deb.
I'm going to have a counselor moment with this one, okay? Because this is, again, a Stephen King adaptation written by William Goldman, directed by Lawrence Kasdan, called
There we go.
Dreamcatcher.
You like that?
I love it. It's horrible. And
it's fantastic.
It's off the rails crazy. And to find out that William Goldman wrote it and Kasdan directed it, the writer of Empire Strikes, I don't know which one he wrote, and he wrote the
Raiders.
That's your best adaptation or worst adaptation?
I love it.
Yes.
I'm just saying
Yes.
I love it. And 1408's the other one.
Oh yeah, 1408's terrific too.
With John Cusack is just unbelievable. So those
What's
are my
the worst though?
The worst. Again, Dreamcatcher.
What about Deb? Deb.
Maximum
What about
Overdrive.
Deb?
For me.
Yeah, Maximum Overdrive's a good choice
Deb.
too.
Did you give us your favorite, Deb?
Shawshank Redemption. This is my favorite.
Piece of cake.
The
Usually
worst,
the couples get them, Go ahead, worst. Give me the worst.
The worst for me was the first movie made of Salem's Lot. It was so cheesy.
Well, it was made for TV, right?
With David Soul?
Soul one.
That was made for TV.
With that Michael at
was it?
15. Who was the actor? The kid that played somebody at 15. Who's
James
that
at
kid?
15.
Oh,
James at 15.
James at 15.
McKeon, Philip McKeon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know stuff.
Any
It's
other
not
Joe
worst?
from Back to Life, real life brother, right?
Yeah.
What's the one Stephen King was an actor in? Played the
Creep
guy
Show.
that was it
One
Creep
of the
Show?
Creep
Was
Yeah,
it, he gets
he
all
grew
chubby.
moss all over himself.
Yeah, green
Yeah.
moss. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But it's funny. I remember starting college, and my writing professor, the first time I met with her to go over, work, she was my mentor for a couple of years, but she said, "So who's your favorite author?" And I said, "Stephen King." And she made this face. And I stopped reading Stephen King for a while. And I'll tell you, man, you go back to his stuff, his book on writing, called On Writing, one of the best books about writing ever put out there. And I don't care what people say about his stuff. I think he is just such a good and prolific writer. And he wrote his more serious stuff under the name Richard Bachman for a while, because he didn't think he would be able to publish, straight stuff that wasn't horror. But I just think his stuff is well done.
yeah, his son's writing now too, under a different pseudonym.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be pretty good.
Joe Hill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Joe Hill, right?
Yeah,
any other
I
worst
saw
ones
some of
before
the
we?
Joe Hill ones. That was good.
Joe wanted to keep that a big secret. Now you let it out.
Oh man.
Did you
Tom,
see that the movie of his book Horns? I think he wrote the script for it.
I've heard that's very good. I haven't seen that.
Oh,
yet.
I've heard that's good.
That's
We didn't
really
say
good
it.
And strange.
Yeah.
So I would like
Yeah.
to.
That's with Harry Potter, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
with Harry
Daniel
Potter.
Radcliffe.
Sean
All
has
right,
written
Kimmy.
under a different name,
I have?
Sean who?
haven't you?
No. I've only ever,
Sean, the writer and producer of 21 Eyes.
Sean, you write stuff? You actually write movie scripts too?
now, I want you to know, look back there. Wait a second. You think I put the book back there, Chapel Street, as an advertisement. But it's not. It's that we have stuff on the table, and I don't want to have to clean it up before the podcast.
I gotcha. Whatever.
It's leftovers from
Sean,
dinner
you name
lunch.
call yourself. You name drop your own name. So, I mean, we're used to
Ding,
that.
ding, ding.
All right, let's go. Give me the ratings. Of
Yo, by the way, I do sometimes
John.
put reviews on the internet under a pseudonym, Jan Kosteritz.
Kosteritz.
Yeah, Kosteritz. You know, so
We'll have to look that up.
I'm going to add that to my list of weird shit Sean mentions during the podcast.
Hey, it's the name of my second great grandfather.
Oh, okay. There's a story behind that. Right.
Okay.
There you go then.
All right. Let's go. What's John? What do you rate this?
Yippee-Ki-Yay.
Drew.
Oh yeah, Yippee-Ki-Yay. It's a classic.
Debbie, Sean.
Yippee-Ki-Yay, mother.
Rojo. Everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's no Lawnmower Man, but it's very good.
Is that another
Jeff Fahey.
Stephen King?
Hey, I don't want to say anything, but I think I did 2 movies with Jeff Fahey. I know I did at least 1.
I like Jeff Fahey.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Now, if we called him, would he know your name?
Oh, yeah.
Is he related to Rob Fahey?
After that one weekend him and Sean had, you bet your ass he'd remember.
Go ahead.
Or would
I can.
or would he know him as Jan Krotchowitz or whatever? I can't remember exactly how it's
Sean
pronounced.
has a Jeff Fahey story. Sean, I can always. Sean, let's just be quiet for a second so I can edit it out if I have to. Okay, go.
Okay. So Jeff Fahey was in this movie I did called Marriage Retreat, which is probably my least favorite movie I did. And I heard he was a real bastard on the set, that he was kind of mean and surly and unhappy. And then after, because then I was editing the movie, after I edited it, I said, yeah, I heard he was not nice. And he goes, yeah, because when he got to the set, the script was completely different than what he had gotten. So and the script was rewritten by 2 other people. And when he actually called it a bait and switch. So I love Jeff Fahey.
That's
yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
And no, I just want to say I love Jeff Fahey for thinking that he liked my script better than the one he did. So
I think that's why we got that. I got that. It was good.
We
You're such a
figured
good
that out.
storyteller.
No, we froze, so I don't know
real
what you
stupid.
Oh,
all the
you were
time.
there. You're such a good
a
storyteller.
raconteur.
All right, so we're gonna spin for next week. So I dropped Drew and Wojo off. I'm sorry because they were the last 2.
Oh no! I thought Sean was bringing his guest on next
we're
week.
We're watching Donnie Brasco with
my bad.
Benji
Okay,
Gallo.
That's awesome. So next week is Donnie Brasco.
True mafia associate and mafia turncoat.
Is he a friend of yours,
Gallo.
Sean? Is he a friend of yours?
Well, I do not want to stand in his way.
He's a friend of mine.
Can we use fake names? I mean, what if the mob finds out?
Is he going to be in silhouette, Sean? Is he going to be in silhouette?
No, he's going to be.
Hey, you're going to talk like this.
Wojo, did you just ask if we should use fake names? Did Wojo just ask if we should use fake names?
Yes.
But this is where not saying our names is finally going to pay off.
No,
let's go with it this next episode.
Well, I decided next week we're going to use our names. I don't know why I thought that, but I thought we'd try it again next week. So
because you want us all killed.
Well, you still use our names when you
Fish.
call on us.
I say we all use mob names next week.
John the Hammer.
Exactly.
Lola.
Ojo the Hare.
All right, guys. Nice job.
Ralph the Hat.
I guess someday Shawshank is going to be a hit. I think I got a feeling in my guts that that's going to be a big one. So,
A feel-good movie of the 90s.
even though it got beat out by Forrest Gump. I can't believe Pulp Fiction got beat out. I forgot about that one too. Pulp Fiction got beat out.
You know what
by
I
Forrest
found
Gump.
out when I was reading about this? I know you want to end. I know you're giving me the sigh. I see it.
I don't.
You lean back and you do this. You don't even realize. You watch when you edit this. You do this when you're ready to end.
He does. You're right about that.
Okay.
You're so right about that. Go ahead,
Are you
finish.
still
What are you
gonna-
going to
are you
say?
still
Wojo?
gonna talk then?
All I was gonna say.
How far
That's
back do I
what
have
you
to
do.
go?
I don't know. We keep hoping you just fall over one week, but it hasn't
This cat will
happened
protect
yet.
him.
I did not know that Tim Robbins directed Dead Man Walking.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh well.
Wow. Well, that's ending on a high note, Wojo. Nice
Hey,
job.
what the hell?
Listen,
fix it
I
in
almost, Wojo, I almost.
Always keep your audience wanting more.
When I found out this was Shawshank, I was almost going to do a Tenant number on you guys and start playing that game, but you had a.
Hey,
bad
don't
week,
be
so I didn't wanna
taking
do
Drew's bits, all right? Ralph,
that. Drew, that's
he
Drew
works
and I
hard
wrote
on
that
those.
bit. We
Hey,
wrote
there's
that bit
enough.
together.
There's enough
Look.
Tenet to go around, okay?
There's, you can have we've accepted your bromance, but don't take his bits, okay?
Right, we co-wrote those bits.
True.
All right, so next week it's Donnie Brasco. With
Donnie
a friend of
Brasco.
ours.
Forget about it.
Yeah,
The
forget
friend of
about
ours.
it.
Okay.
Forget about
All right,
it.
guys. Have a safe week. Anybody get vaccinated this week?
No, but I am eligible today. So I've been
You
trying
were?
to sign up all day.
Ooh.
I'm still too young and healthy. It makes me.
I'll be 45 tomorrow, so I've been
That's
too young.
because you're Generation X, Ralph.
Could be right. I think it's
You are not Generation X.
You're not even on my line.
a very late Generation X. All right.
No, you're not.
Have a safe week, everybody. We'll see you next week for little Donnie Brasco.
See you
Bye,
next
guys.
week.
See ya.
Bye.